Hey guys, it's your boy Velvet Spaghetti, and so I played Persona 3 maybe 2 years ago. My initial reaction, I like both these games about the same amount. Like, they're both really good games. I would have to give a slight edge though, like a personal bias to 3, just because of the ending and the characters. I guess I kind of like more. 4 has a few quality of life improvements. For example, you can control your characters now. So you know exactly what they're gonna do, and you know all their movesets, which is really neat. And of course, the first thing that ever always comes with Persona is the style. Oh boy, this game's got style. It's got style, baby. It is a really cool game. I love the menu. So characters. Okay, so there's 2 things I want to say. You have this whole concept. The characters have their shadow selves, and they need to confront that in order to overcome themselves and accept the part of themselves that they don't want to, and thus become more powerful and then get a persona that way. But Rise was fun. Naoto was interesting once you found out about her situation. Kanji was really fun because he's just angry all the time. I didn't think that would be so much fun to have a guy in your team like that, but there it is. Yosuke was really cool. He was like, he was the Junpei of the game, but he was more of a bro than Junpei. I'm totally fine in saying that. And of course, protagonist Dojima, Nanako. And that does become the central focus of the climax of the game, where I can't give too many spoilers, but there's a lot of drama that happens in that triangle. And I really, really enjoyed it. I really appreciated how far they were willing to push certain things. I remember at the beginning of the game, I wasn't crazy about the dialogue or the setups, like, oh, what a mischievous thing, Yosuke's gotta pee. It was kind of funny though. I don't know, I had this feeling in the beginning of the game, the conversations were just so dry, or they were telling me things I already knew. Unfortunately, that really stopped being the case. The middle of the game, it got immensely better. Even a character like Teddy. Oh great, I'm stuck with comic relief forever. Even that character developed, I would say, the most out of all of them, and became fairly interesting. And his whole backstory and who he is and what he is. I mean, you can speculate on that, but that's really, really interesting. The other thing I also noticed is that with your social links in this game, you unlocked new links pretty late in the game, and it seems to be structured that it does encourage you, or that it wants you to do a new playthrough to finish maxing out those social links, which is a neat idea. I mean, it does give you a reason to replay it, at least for those little story bits. But I don't know about the rest of you, but this game sucked about 80 to 90 hours of my life, so I ain't going back there, man. It was a good game. I don't know, they would have to give me something really, really juicy for me to come back and put in that much time. Oh, who is my favorite character? Well, that's not your party member. Honestly, it was Adachi. I don't know how I feel about that now, but I still loved Adachi regardless. I don't know why though. He's just this kind of goofball, and oh gosh darn it, he's trying his best, but strangely endearing. I don't think I've actually seen a character like that, and I think that's what Persona games are really known for. It's that their characters are very realistic in a certain way. They're not the sort of one-dimensional things of anime tropes. And, by default, these characters are confronting the other part of their psyche. So obviously they're not one-dimensional. They can't be. I also really liked how the whole lore of the game, where the TV world was being created by people's subconscious, and I really liked how it took on the idea of the shadow. And it wasn't always consistent, like, oh, some characters actually didn't confront themselves, but they got a persona anyway. It doesn't matter. You're listening to the same song for almost 40 hours, and if it's still good after that, you have a banger on your hands. And the main battle theme is great for that. Even the boss themes are actually pretty good. The town music was really good, but the OST overall is pretty solid. It's pretty good. One bad thing, well, not bad, but I have one, I guess, complaint about this game, is that the bad ending. My experience was, with a bad ending, I literally thought the game was over. What I think is misleading is there's no message. At least I don't recall there being a message from Igor or something like, oh, you got the bad ending. dumbass, you know, try again. Because it literally jumps you into New Game Plus. So you're like, oh, like, I guess that is the real ending. But of course, you know, again, I sat there for 10 minutes and was thought, nah, this doesn't feel right. In order to correct your mistake, you need to choose a series of dialogue options. To go back to that previous save and mash through all the text again to get to that point is at least like 10 minutes. It felt like 10 minutes. Well, that's not so bad, but you know, I can't imagine the amount of people who went through all that dialogue text after 10 minutes of just smashing the X button, and then suddenly they accidentally choose the wrong dialogue option at the start of that critical point, and they have to reset it. Like, it's frustrating. It's stupid. It's frustrating. There's no indication that, depending on your choices, this will be the bad ending or the real ending. So there's technically 3 different ways this can go. One, you just pick the asshole option, and that gives you the super bad ending where everyone dies. Well, you know, more or less. Then there's a second option where you try to get the good ending, but you don't do it good enough, where you save the person, you still get the bad ending anyway. And again, like, it's not clear, like, okay, I tried both options, so obviously neither of them work, so that is the real ending. No, you have to choose a very specific dialogue option. Anyway, it's unintuitive as to how to get the real ending dialogue, and the only way to figure it out is really to go online or really, if you didn't have an online guide, you would keep reloading this 10-minute segment to get to this point to make a bunch of almost redundant dialogue option choices that don't make sense so you can continue the last act of the game. No. Atlus. Bad developer. Do not stop. Just don't do this. This wasn't in Persona 3. Anyway, speaking on that point, final boss was super cool, super fun. This was a lot of fun. I also enjoyed, again, how they did the ending of the battles with the shuffle. So you got your Arcana or your Persona card, but then you also had like a chance for a status effect, and you can go forwards or backwards. It's a simple thing, but I really enjoyed it. Also, on another note, I guess, P3, I hated the battle end music. Dum 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 dum. It was so freaking annoying. I'm so glad it's gone, and then it's much better. And I'm also really happy that the whole quest system in 4 is much more straightforward. In P4, you just talk to the people and they give you hints as to essentially what you need to find and what you need to kill. On that point though, the P4 quest system is not perfect because I spent a couple hours doing a pointless quest, and I looked online like, okay, we're gonna grind for this item, and I just wasn't getting it. And thank God I stopped after like maybe 1 or 2 hours, because it turns out after a certain point she's no longer accessible, and so when she says she's leaving town, she's literally leaving the game, so you have to grind it before that time, and it just doesn't tell you. So that left me with like 2 quests just impossible to complete. I literally hate this in games. I hate this so much where it's just like, oh, well, you didn't talk to the person at the right time at the right moment, so you New Game Plus, idiot. But yeah, I feel a lot of things in Persona 4 are a lot more streamlined, and overall it's a better experience. But after playing this game, it kind of just hit me how successful this game was, because there are some spin-offs that I literally don't believe. They have a fighting arena game with sequels, and they have a rhythm dancing game with sequels, and they have a DS crossover game with a sequel. The Persona verse is really impressive and really cool. I just wouldn't expect it. Like, what other RPG, what other game also has, like this Halo or, like Mario and Sonic, obviously, but what game, name one of your favorite franchises, and does it have a fighting game spin-off? Does it have a rhythm game spin-off? I don't think so. So I respect that, and I appreciate that about Persona. Speaking of spin-offs, not exactly official, but the Heim Daisy comics, I watched those years before I even played this game, and I laughed my ass off so hard. I'm so glad I can now appreciate them. And it's weird watching them again, because I don't actually laugh as much, because I realize, oh yeah, that actually did happen exactly as she drew it. But it's still, I love watching those. But yeah, guys, reach out for your truth. And, pick up Persona 4 if you haven't. It's good. Alright.